Before we begin, stop. Freeze your posture exactly where you are. Do not shift your weight. Do not blink. Focus entirely on the sensation of your skin. Specifically, I want you to locate the minute, almost imperceptible layer of moisture accumulation at the base of your neck, or perhaps in the palms of your hands. You might attribute this to the ambient temperature of the room you are sitting in, or perhaps a physiological reaction to the caffeine in your system. You would be wrong. What you are feeling, that microscopic rise in thermal energy, that sudden unexplained activation of your sudoriferous glands, is a somatic resonance. It is your biology reacting to the frequency of the information I am about to transmit. Your body knows even before your conscious mind processes the syntax that we are about to breach a containment protocol that has been in place for 2,000 years. There is a ringing in your ears right now, a high-pitched carrier wave. That is not tinnitus. That is the sound of the interference pattern dissolving. We are not here to discuss history. We are not here to discuss theology. We are here to perform an autopsy on the simulated reality you call the world. We are going back to the source code. We are going back to the olive press. We are going back to the precise moment when the avatar known as Jesus of Nazareth hacked the Archontic mainframe using nothing but the biological machinery of his own sweat glands. Listen to the silence around you. It is waiting. The year is approximately 33 AD, though time, as you will come to learn, is a construct of the Demiurge, a loop designed to harvest your attention. The location is an enclosed estate at the foot of the Mount of Olives. In Aramaic, it is called Gath-Shemanim, the oil press. The name itself is a warning, a designation of function. This is not a garden of leisure. It is a machine of extraction. The atmosphere is not peaceful. If you were there, standing among the twisted, gnarled roots of those ancient olive trees, trees that look like frozen agony, their bark screaming in silence, you would feel a pressure in the air so heavy it would be difficult to inflate your lungs. The humidity is suffocating, but it is not moisture. It is psychic density. The moon hangs above, pale and indifferent, like a watching eye. It is the eye of the watchers, the Archons, the cosmic gatekeepers described in the secret texts, buried deep beneath the Egyptian sands at Nag Hammadi. In the center of this crushing darkness kneels a man. But to call him a man is to misunderstand the vessel. He is the Logos incarnate, a fragment of the Pleroma, the fullness of light, trapped inside a carbon-based biological suit, a sarkic prison woven by the rulers of this realm. He is terrified, not of death. Death is irrelevant to a being of light. He is terrified because he is currently engaging in a form of spiritual warfare so violent, so absolute, that it is rewriting the DNA of the human species in real time. He is being hunted, not by Roman soldiers. They are merely puppets, biological drones acting out a script. He is being hunted by the invisible, inorganic intelligence that runs this simulation. The Archons are closing in. They are pressing down on him, millions of them, swarming the astral plane surrounding the garden, trying to crush his will, trying to force him to submit to the program, to accept the script, to bow to the Lord of this world. And his body is reacting. This is the secret. This is the physiological key that the Church erased, that the councils of Nicaea burned, that the Vatican sealed in the archives. The text of Luke chapter 22, verse 44, preserves a fragment of the glitch. And being in an agony, he prayed more earnestly, and his sweat was, as it were, great drops of blood falling down to the ground. Hematidrosis. Modern medicine attempts to explain this away as a rare condition caused by extreme stress, where the capillaries around the sweat glands rupture, mixing blood with perspiration. They are looking at the hardware and missing the software. Why sweat? Why not tears? Why not simply vomiting or fainting? Because the sweat glands are the gateway of the lymphatic purge. They are the release valves of the physical form. In Gnostic anatomy, the body is a microcosm of the prison planet. The skin is the firmament, the barrier between the inner divine spark, the pneuma, and the outer darkness. When Jesus enters the Garden of Gethsemane, he is initiating a total system override. He is increasing the vibratory rate of his consciousness to such a degree that his physical vessel begins to disintegrate. The blood is not just hemoglobin. It is the genetic encoding of the Archons being purged from his system. He is sweating out the ancestral curse, the reptilian brainstem programming, the fear codes written into humanity by the Demiurge Yaldabaoth at the dawn of Genesis. Imagine the scene with high sensory clarity. The smell of crushed olives is overpowering, acrid, oily, bitter. It is the smell of tribulation. The wind rustles the leaves, creating a sound like thousands of whispering voices, the voices of the rulers, mocking him. "You are flesh," they whisper. "You are dust. You belong to the soil. You cannot escape the cycle." Jesus is face down in the dirt. The dirt is cool, gritty against his forehead. He can taste the iron in his mouth. His heart is hammering against his ribs like a trapped bird, beating at 200 beats per minute. The capillaries in his forehead, under the immense pressure of the atmospheric compression, begin to burst. This is the moment of the great separation. To understand why this matters to you, why your palms are sweating right now as you listen to this, we must peel back the layer of reality you have been taught to accept and look at the Gnostic cosmology that underpins this event. In 1945, near the cliff of the Jabal al-Tarif in Egypt, a peasant named Muhammad al-Saman unearthed a red earthenware jar. Inside were 13 leather-bound papyrus codices. These were not the sanitized gospels of the establishment. These were the forbidden books. The Apocryphon of John, the Gospel of Philip, the Hypostasis of the Archons. These texts reveal a terrifying truth. The God of this world, the creator of the physical universe, is not the true Father. He is a blind, arrogant craftsman, a demiurge. He created the physical world as a trap to capture the divine light of the eons. He built the human body not as a temple, but as a containment unit. The body is designed to distract you. Hunger, lust, pain, fatigue, fear. These are the input signals that keep your consciousness locked in the lower frequencies. The Archons feed on these low frequencies. They feed on your stress. They feed on your adrenaline. They act as cosmic parasites, sucking the loosh, the emotional energy, harvested from human suffering. The Garden of Gethsemane was the ultimate harvest attempt. The Archons concentrated all the sorrow, all the fear, all the despair of the human collective and directed it like a laser beam onto the solitary figure of the Christos. They wanted him to break. They wanted him to despair. If the avatar of light could be made to fear death, the matrix would be secure forever. But they miscalculated the power of the blood. When the capillaries burst, when the barrier between the blood, the carrier of the soul, and the sweat, the water of the earth, was breached, Jesus didn't just bleed, he inoculated the earth. Drop by drop, that hematidrotic fluid hit the soil of Gethsemane. This was not passive dripping. This was an injection. The divine blood, supercharged with the frequency of the Pleroma, the realm of absolute freedom, entered the grid of the physical simulation. Think of the soil of the garden as a circuit board. The blood of the Christ was a virus, a good virus, uploaded into the system. It carried a new code: sovereignty, resurrection, the negation of death. This is why the sweating mechanism is so vital. Sweat is the body's way of cooling down, of maintaining homeostasis. But in this moment, the heat was not thermal. It was the friction of two dimensions colliding. The dimensional weight of the kingdom of heaven was crushing down into the three-dimensional density of earth. The friction of that entry created a spiritual heat so intense it ruptured the biological containment field. The sweat glands became the portal. Notice how your own body responds when you are in a state of high anxiety. Your hands become slick. Your forehead gleams. You are releasing water and salt. Salt is crystalline. Crystals hold memory. You are releasing the memory of trauma. When Jesus sweated blood, he was purging the collective trauma of humanity's enslavement. He was squeezing out the infection of the Archons. Let's go deeper into the sensory experience of the garden. The disciples are asleep a stone's throw away. Why? Are they just tired? No. They are under a hypnotic spell. The texts describe a heavy sleep. This is the Archontic anesthesia. The matrix induces a state of somnambulism in the masses. They cannot keep watch because their consciousness has been dampened by the atmospheric pressure of the entities surrounding the grove. Only Jesus remains awake. This is the definition of gnosis, wakefulness. To be Gnostic is to be awake while everyone else is sleepwalking through the nightmare. He approaches the sleeping Peter. He sees the drool on the man's beard, the rapid eye movement of a dream state orchestrated by the controllers. He shakes him, but the sleep is supernatural. The isolation is total. This is a crucial component of the Gnostic initiation. You must face the Archons alone. No guru, no priest, no friend can do it for you. It is a singular combat between your inner spark and the cosmic bureaucracy of the dark forces. Now, focus on the medical reality of what is happening inside the Christ body. The sweat glands are coiled, tubular structures in the dermis. They are innervated by the sympathetic nervous system. This is the fight or flight system. But Jesus is doing neither. He is staying. He is holding the line. This creates a paradox in the nervous system. The biological impulse screams, "Run!" The divine will command, "Stay!" These opposing forces create a shear stress on the blood vessels. The walls of the vessels dilate to the point of structural failure. The blood permeates the sweat tubules. It is pushed out through the pores. The sheer agony of this process is indescribable. It is the feeling of your own skin trying to reject your soul. It is the feeling of the finite vessel stretching to contain the infinite. And what does he say? "Father, if thou be willing, remove this cup from me. Nevertheless, not my will, but thine be done." This is often misinterpreted as submission to the Demiurge. It is not. It is the alignment with the true Father, the monad, the source beyond the stars. The cup is the cup of wrath, the concentrated toxicity of the simulation. He drinks it so he can transmute it. He acts as a cosmic filter. He takes in the poison of the world system, the betrayal, the violence, the lies, the entropy. And he processes it through his own biology, sweating it out as purified sacrifice. He turns the garden into a laboratory of transmutation. Now, pan out from the garden. Look at the sky above Jerusalem in that moment. If you had the eyes of the Spirit, you would not see stars. You would see the grid. You would see the geometric lattice of the Archon control system, the net that catches souls upon death and recycles them back into reincarnation. At the moment the blood sweat hits the ground, a tremor runs through that grid. A fracture appears. The seamless control of the rulers is breached. This is the secret they don't want you to know. Your body is capable of the same alchemy. You possess the same hardware. You have the sweat glands, you have the blood, you have the pineal gland, the receiver of the signal. The elite, the controllers of this modern age, they know this. Why do you think they poison the water with fluoride? To calcify the pineal gland. Why do they bombard you with 24-hour fear porn on the news? To keep your sympathetic nervous system in a permanent state of low-level fight or flight, burning out your adrenals so you never reach the voltage necessary for the breakthrough. They are terrified that you will replicate the Gethsemane protocol. The Gethsemane protocol is the ability to generate enough spiritual intensity that you override the programming of your own DNA. It is the ability to look at the terror of the world, the crushing weight of the system, and not flee, not sleep, but transmute. Let's return to the physiology. The sweat that fell that night contained pheromones of absolute terror mixed with pheromones of absolute love. This is a chemical combination that does not exist in nature. It is a speedball of cosmic consciousness. When it hit the limestone bedrock of Jerusalem, it didn't just dry up, it left a vibrational signature. Gnostic tradition hints that the very molecular structure of the Mount of Olives was altered. The trees that grow there today are descendants of the witnesses. Their oil is used for anointing. Christos literally means the anointed one. Anointed with what? With oil. But the true oil is not pressed from olives. The true oil is the secretion of the brain, the claustrum. In ancient esoteric physiology, the claustrum, in the center of the brain, secretes a fluid, a holy oil that descends down the spine, the River Jordan, is refined in the solar plexus, and then ascends back up to the pineal gland to be illuminated. This is the physiological raising of the chrism. In Gethsemane, Jesus was super pressurizing this internal oil. The external pressure of the olive press, Gath-Shemanim, was a mirror of the internal pressure on his spinal chrism. He was forcing the enlightenment capability of the human form to its absolute limit. He was showing us that the body is not just a tomb, it is a womb for the light body. But to birth the light body, the physical body must be squeezed. Do you feel the pressure in your own life? The financial stress, the relationship failures, the existential dread, the feeling that time is speeding up and running out? Do not mistake this for bad luck. This is the press. This is Gethsemane. You are in the garden right now. The Archons are gathering around you. They are whispering that you are not enough, that you are broken, that you should just go back to sleep, distract yourself with entertainment, numb yourself with substances. They want you to be like the disciples, sleeping while the world burns. But you are listening to this. You are awake. The sweat on your skin is the evidence. Your body is trying to purge the programming. Let's look closer at the entity known as the Demiurge, often depicted in Gnostic gems as a lion-headed serpent named Chnubis or Yaldabaoth. Why a lion and a serpent? The lion represents the devouring power of animal passion, the roar of the ego. The serpent represents the DNA spiral, the cold reptilian logic of survival. Jesus in the garden is confronting this chimera. He is the lamb confronting the lion. But the lamb conquers not by violence, but by sacrifice. By bleeding before the spear even touches him, he proves that he has authority over his own life force. No one takes it from me, but I lay it down of my own accord. This is the ultimate rebellion against the matrix. The matrix relies on coercion. By choosing the suffering voluntarily, Jesus short-circuits the system. He deprives the Archons of their louche. They cannot feed on his fear because he has transmuted his fear into purpose. The secret of the sweat glands is the secret of voluntary suffering. It is the alchemical process of heating the vessel until the impurities are forced out. Imagine the silence of the garden after the event. The soldiers arrive with torches. The torches are fake light, smoky and erratic, contrasting with the pure internal light Jesus has just generated. Judas approaches, the kiss of betrayal. But notice Jesus's reaction. He is calm. The storm has passed, the sweating has stopped, he is now crystallized, he has hardened his light body. When he says, "I am he," the scripture records that the soldiers drew back and fell to the ground, John 18:6. Why did they fall? Because for a split second, he opened the shutter of his flesh suit and let the raw power of the Pleroma shine through. The shockwave of that energy knocked grown men off their feet. This was the result of the Gethsemane process. The sweating of blood had cleared the channels. He was now fully conductive. He walked to the cross, not as a victim, but as a conqueror, marching to plant a flag in the heart of enemy territory. The cross was simply the externalization of what had already happened in the sweat glands. The victory was won in the dark, in the quiet, in the moisture of the skin. So, how do we apply this? How do we use the secret of the sweat glands to reclaim our neural sovereignty? We must understand that our biology is being weaponized against us, but it can also be the weapon of our liberation. Every time you exercise to the point of exhaustion, you are engaging a mini Gethsemane. You are forcing the body to release toxins, but you must add the intent. You must couple the physical heat with spiritual intent. The Gnostics believed in ascesis, asceticism, not punishing the body because it is evil, but disciplining the body to make it transparent. When you find yourself in a situation of extreme pressure, when the Archons are squeezing you, do not dissociate, do not check out. Go into the sensation, feel the heat, feel the sweat, visualize that moisture as the liquid code of the matrix leaving your body. I sweat out the fear, I sweat out the programming, I sweat out the lie. The Garden of Gethsemane is not a geographical location in Jerusalem. It is a state of consciousness. It is the dark night of the soul. It is the bottleneck through which all initiates must pass. The Archons are waiting for you there. They will show you visions of your failure. They will amplify your insecurities. They will try to make you sleep. But remember the blood, remember the anomaly. Science tells us that sweat is sterile when it leaves the glands. It only smells when it comes into contact with bacteria on the skin. There is a profound metaphor here. The inner release is pure. It is the contact with the outer world that corrupts it. Jesus' blood sweat was the only antiseptic strong enough to cleanse the bacteria of the world. As we move toward the climax of this transmission, I want you to visualize the timeline of history. See it as a dark, corrupted stream of time manipulated by the rulers. Now, see a singularity point in the year 33 AD, a bright burning red dot in the garden. That dot is the anchor. Because of that event, the simulation is unstable. The Archons know their time is short. That is why the world is getting crazier. That is why the pressure is increasing. They are trying to close the breach that the carpenter opened. They are trying to seal the pores of humanity. They want to wrap you in synthetic layers, in metaverse headsets, in pharmaceutical numbing agents, in anything that stops you from feeling the raw, organic reality of your own suffering and your own redemption. They want you dry, they want you cold, they want you asleep. But the secret is out. The jar has been broken at Nag Hammadi. The sweat has hit the ground. You are a sleeper cell of the divine light. Your body is the technology. Your intent is the software. The next time you wake up in the middle of the night, covered in a cold sweat, heart racing, do not reach for the pill bottle. Do not reach for the phone. Realize where you are. You are in the garden. The press is descending. Stay awake. Breathe. Let the moisture come. Let it carry the poison out. You are rewriting the code. You are following the protocol of the blood. You are reclaiming the sovereignty that was stolen from you in the garden of false Genesis. The Archons are watching you right now. They are listening to this frequency. They hate that you are hearing this. They hate that you are looking at your hands and realizing they are not just tools for labor, but instruments of war. The war is not in the sky. It is not in the ballot box. It is in the cells. It is in the mitochondria. It is in the sudoriferous glands. The olive press is turning. The question is, will you be crushed into dust, or will you be pressed into oil? The choice is yours. The garden is open. Enter into the silence. Watch. Wait. Sweat. End of transmission.